Welcome back to the Deep Dive. You ready to jump into something kind of crazy?
Always.
Today, we're looking at Bitcoin
Okay.
and Donald Trump.
Whoa. Okay. An interesting
I
combo.
found this Forbes article, and it's all about how the Trump family is, like, really into Bitcoin. So we're going to
Yeah.
break it all down, see what it could mean for all of us. What do you think?
Sounds good. So where do we even start with something like this?
Well, I guess we got to start with Bitcoin itself. It's been all over the place, hasn't it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Up, down, breaking records. It recently went over $100,000.
Crazy, right. So imagine you're just scrolling through X, Twitter,
Yeah.
and you see a post from Eric Trump.
Okay.
And he says, feels like a great time to enter Bitcoin.
Now that's interesting.
It really is.
Well, for one, a lot of crypto talk happens on X.
Yeah, so lots of people are going to see that.
Exactly. But it's more than that, too. Eric Trump's really involved in this thing called World Liberty Financial. It's all about DeFi.
DeFi. So for people who don't know, what's DeFi?
Basically, it's like the regular financial stuff, like loans and stuff, but without banks in the middle. It all happens on a blockchain, more transparent, open to everyone.
Okay.
And get this, Donald Trump himself has endorsed World Liberty Financial.
Oh, wow. So when Eric's saying it's time to buy Bitcoin,
It's not just out of nowhere.
yeah, his family's got skin in the game, right?
Definitely. And they're not just talking either. World Liberty Financial, they've been buying up a ton of wrapped Bitcoin.
What's wrapped Bitcoin?
It's like regular Bitcoin, but you can use it on more blockchains. Way more flexible.
Ah, I see. So they're putting their money where their mouth is. Makes you wonder, is this a business move or is something bigger going on?
Good question. We'll have to dig into that. But there's another piece here, too. Trump Media and Technology Group.
TMTG, right. The Truth Social People.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they're working on launching a Bitcoin ETF.
Now, we've mentioned ETFs a few times. Could you remind everyone what those are?
Sure. An ETF, or Exchange Traded Fund, is basically a bundle of assets you can invest in, like on the stock market.
Gotcha.
So a Bitcoin ETF would follow the price of Bitcoin. You invest in the ETF, you're kind of investing in Bitcoin without actually buying the Bitcoin yourself.
Makes sense. So why is PMTG doing this a big deal?
Well, think about it. They're going up against the giants, BlackRock, Fidelity. These huge companies already have their own Bitcoin ETFs.
Right. And BlackRock's has been doing super well.
Billions of dollars invested. So TMTG is wading into a tough fight.
For sure.
But here's the thing. TMTG is saying their ETF isn't just G about Bitcoin.
Oh.
Devin Nunes, their CEO, he says it's about letting people invest in American energy, manufacturing, that kind of thing.
So they're trying to appeal to a certain group then. People who like Trump's economic ideas.
Exactly. It's almost like they want to create a whole separate system, one that appeals to certain people.
So the Trumps are all over Bitcoin then? Personal endorsements, DeFi, ETFs?
Yeah, it's quite something.
Makes you think, huh?
Definitely makes you think. Changes your perspective on Bitcoin at all.
I don't know, maybe. It's interesting at least. What do you think?
Well,
It's like they're saying, hey, if you don't trust the government or the banks, put your money in Bitcoin.
yeah, and a lot of people see Bitcoin like that, a safe place to put your money when things are uncertain or when prices are going up.
Right, like a hedge against inflation.
Yeah.
And, last year was a big year for Bitcoin ETFs.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
BlackRock launched their spot Bitcoin ETF. It was huge E.
It really was. Suddenly, all these big investors who'd been kind of hesitant about crypto, they jumped in.
So TMTG, they're kind of following in BlackRock's footsteps, you could say.
In a way, yeah. But they're also putting their own spin on it. Remember that woke funds thing?
Right.
It's like they're saying, invest with us, we're different, we get you.
Playing to a specific audience, for sure.
Definitely. Tapping into those economic nationalism vibes. People who feel like, I don't know, like the regular system doesn't represent them.
It's wild how Bitcoin has become this battleground, almost.
It really is. And
Yeah.
it makes you wonder, is this good for Bitcoin?
Yeah, good question. I mean, having the Trumps involved, it brings a lot of attention.
For sure. More attention, maybe more people investing.
But it could also scare some people off, right?
Yeah, definitely. Some people might not want to touch anything related to the Trumps. It's risky, for sure.
So there's good and bad. That's Bitcoin for you, I guess.
I guess so. But hey, let's talk about the downsides for a sec. What could go wrong with this whole Trump Bitcoin thing?
Okay, yeah, good point. What are the risks?
Well, what if Bitcoin crashes?
Ouch.
People who invested based on, Trump's endorsements, they're going to lose money. And that could hurt his image, his whole brand.
Right. Makes sense. What else?
Well, the government could get
Regulation.
Exactly. Crypto's still kind of like the Wild West. The government could step in at any time, make new rules, and if the Trumps are too close to Bitcoin...
You could get caught in the crossfire.
Exactly.
So yeah, there are definitely risks.
Big risks for the Trumps, and maybe even for Bitcoin itself.
But at the same time, this whole thing is kind of exciting too, right? Shaking things up a bit.
Oh yeah, definitely. Bitcoin always does that. It makes us rethink money, the whole financial system.
It's like a giant experiment happening in real time.
And we're all part of it, whether we want to be or not.
That's a good point. And for people who are thinking, this is all too much, I'll just stick to what I know.
I'd say keep an open mind.
Yeah, even if you never buy a single Bitcoin.
It's good to understand what's happening. It affects all of us, really. It's about money, power. The whole world is changing because of Bitcoin.
Big stuff.
Yeah.
So much to think about. But, you know, going back to that Eric Trump quote, feels like a great time to enter Bitcoin. What do you think he meant by that? Do you agree?
Well, think about it. Bitcoin tends to do well when the economy's kind of shaky.
Right, when the stock market's going crazy.
Exactly. People start looking for safer places to put their money.
And because Bitcoin's not controlled by any one government.
Right, it's decentralized. That makes it appealing for some people. Plus, with all this talk about inflation, Bitcoin has that limited supply, you know? Could be a good hedge.
So Eric Trump might be right then. It could be a good time,
Hmm?
but it's also a good way to, get people's attention. Kind of like a marketing thing, too.
Yeah, for sure. Playing on people's fears a bit, maybe. But at the end of the day, it's up to each person to decide, right?
Totally. Do your research, know the risks. But this whole Trump thing, it just shows how much Bitcoin's changing. It's not just for, like, tech people anymore.
Nope, not at all. Politicians, celebrities, even those big financial companies, everyone's getting in on it.
So what does that mean for the future? Will everyone be using Bitcoin someday?
That's the big question, isn't it? Honestly, who knows? But one thing's for sure, Bitcoin's a big deal. It's changing how we think about money. Maybe even how the whole world works.
It's kind of mind-blowing when you think about it.
It is, and it's only just getting started.
Well, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive. But we'll keep following this story, that's for sure.
Absolutely. So much more to uncover.
Thanks for joining us. And until next time, stay curious. Keep exploring. You never know what you might find in the world of Bitcoin.